Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Mikkel Thorup with us from expatmoney.com. Mikkel is here to talk to us about international investing and the implications both on the tax side, all the different implications that happens once you actually own real estate outside of the United States, which is something, I've been looking into myself. And so it's a super interesting topic, especially if you want to buy that, that beach property out there, maybe in the Bahamas, who knows? But Mikkel, thank you very much for hopping on the show today.
Pleasure's all mine. Thanks very much for having me, Gabe.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we like to start with stories. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? How'd you get started in real estate and in the international world itself?
Sure. I'll have to go quite far back for mine, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Basically, when I was a child, I was diagnosed with a learning disability. And what happened, Gabe, was they pulled me out of school and they sat me down in a little room, and there was the teacher and the principal and vice principal, something like that. And they said, Mikkel, something doesn't work quite right with your brain. And what we want to do is send you to a special school for special boys. All right, thanks. So that's what I did every day for 3 years. I got on a little white bus and I took the little white bus across town and I went to this quote unquote special school. Now, the only problem, Gabe, was it was actually not a special school. It was actually a regular school with a special class. So you can probably imagine what happened. I got in a lot of fights and I got picked on and I got bullied. Now, this is no woe is me, I'm a victim, poor Mikkel, poor Mikkel. I certainly don't subscribe to any of that. And I got hit and I hit back twice as hard. Like I would not claim otherwise by any stretch of the imagination. But anyways, after 3 years, I got to go back to my neighborhood school and I thought, this is going to be amazing. My friends will have missed me so much. They're going to be so excited to see me. And once again, you can probably imagine what happened. I showed up on day one at school and all the kids started gossiping and whispering. Oh, I remember Mikkel. He went to some retard school. Nice. Thanks, guys. Very sensitive. Kids are very, sensitive human beings. I really appreciate that. But what it did was leave a really bad taste in my mouth for education, and specifically public education. So I stopped going to school, and then I would fail and they send me to summer school, and then I'd fail that and I wouldn't show up, and somehow they would let me squeak by. But long story short, I stopped going to school when I was 12 years old. I officially dropped out when I was 15, and I started traveling internationally a year or two after that. And when I started traveling the world and visiting all these new countries, I started meeting really incredible people who were living their lives and learning and experiencing the world completely different of what I ever expected. And it really showed me there's not only one way to go about things. And I started to experiment with different tax strategies and different investments. I was very much interested in these types of things. And that's what I've done for the last 22 years straight. I've been traveling and living abroad and investing abroad. So now I have visited, I think, 105, 110 countries. I've circumnavigated the globe over 400 times. I've lived in 9 different countries. and I built my entire business around these things. And a little side note: my horrible uh, learning disability is dyslexia, which we now know in this day and age that it really is not a big deal whatsoever. It's actually kind of common. Lots of
Yeah.
people have it, and it's not a reason to pull someone out of school. But
Richard
that's
Branson, man.
that happened. There you go.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs out there. Richard Branson, he has dyslexia. It's a totally normal thing. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but as I always say, struggles do make us stronger, and it sounds like it definitely made you stronger in the long run, and really got you set on quite an amazing journey. 15 is when you started your international traveling. That is definitely a
Well,
young
I
age.
dropped out at 15. I probably started traveling about a year or two after that, 16, 17, when I was out there solo traveling. But yeah, still as a teenager.
Yeah, definitely young. What was your first country that you went out to?
Okay, so I'm from Southwestern Ontario. So besides traveling around Canada or the United States, I did Ireland, England, and Wales for a trip. And then shortly after that, I did all of Western Europe and I went to North Africa and I was in Morocco for 2 months. It was actually funny. I was probably about 19 at the time and I decided I wanted to go to Algeria. So I
Mm.
jumped on a camel and I took a camel 3 days across the Sahara Desert to
Oh
Algeria.
man,
That was
Jesus.
in like 2001 or 2002 or something like that. I don't know. Like, yeah,
Those things they
I don't
do
know if I
not.
do those anymore, but
I was gonna say camel rides, while they do look cool, they definitely don't look comfortable. I would definitely prefer a car or a motorcycle or something like that.
yeah, but reliable, very reliable in that situation.
Yeah,
But
not
lots of
gonna.
crazy things I did at that age.
Yep, definitely not gonna break down on you. Well, yeah, that's very cool. I really like the start of your story. You kind of took a leap there. You went from you got all this international experience. Do you love being international? And then you went into taxes. Like you liked the tax aspect of being international. How did you make that leap? What got you actually into the real estate side of things?
So I wouldn't say that I liked the taxes. I hated the taxes, and that's why I got into tax planning because I'm very libertarian, and I've been very libertarian since I was before I knew what the word meant. So I've always done everything I possibly could to pay zero taxes. I've pretty much not paid taxes in 20 years, completely legally, and it's kind of funny because I'm an international tax expert and I couldn't file a tax return to save my life because I haven't done one in like 20 years. I do the 40,000 foot view planning stage. Of course, I work with the lawyers, I work with the CPAs, and nothing I'm going to be saying today or we're going to be discussing is going to be international tax advice or tax advice of any kinds, you could say. But yeah, it was my absolute disdain for taxation that led me down this path.
Understandable. Nobody really likes, paying taxes. And while it does, support a lot of good infrastructure out there in our country, it's not fun to have to write that check. So you really got into the tax side just because you kind of had an aversion to it. You wanted to understand it. And on the real estate side, I mean, I understand that there's a lot of benefits to it. So, what are the benefits of investing internationally from a tax perspective, from just kind of an overall perspective, from somebody in the US, in Canada? Why would they want to invest in, Georgia or Bali or something like that?
Sure. A lot of the investing that I do with my clients is not just to have a return on capital, which is great. I fully support that. But what I'm actually looking for in a lot of the investments is that we can pair it with a residency or a citizenship. So, residency is the legal right to live and work in that country. And specifically, it's a permanent residency, which is what we're looking for. And the citizenship is literally just that. You're a national of that country. You can say, I am Panamanian, I am Brazilian, I am Mexican. You get a citizenship, you get a passport, which is just the travel document. It's that agreement between multiple countries. It's their negotiation between each other that allows you to enter and exit other countries. So, yes, I like real estate very much for all the amazing things that it can do, the return on capital and a home, and it's a tangible asset and things like this. But when you can pair it with a legal right to be in that country, now we're talking. Now that's the things that I really concentrate on.
Got you. So there's three things you mentioned. Well, I added one, but you mentioned residency, citizenship, and then I know you can get a travel visa. So citizenship is the most rights you can have in a country. And I didn't know you could extricate that from residency. So you can there. What are the layers of, I guess, access to a country? Is it those three, citizenship, residency, and then travel visa, or
Yeah. So we would do okay. So the most basic is you go to another country. We call it visa-free access. You don't need a special visa to enter the country. Your country has an agreement with that country. As an American, you can go
U.S.,
to
Canada?
yeah, exactly. You can go to these countries and you can be there as a tourist, and maybe you can be there for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, but at some point you need to leave. Like you can't just be there forever. So if you don't like what's happening or if you want to go to another place, you're capped on how much time you can have. Now there's work permits and student visas and all these types of things. I don't deal with those at all. What I'm specifically focused on is a permanent residency, which
Mm-hmm.
means that you are permanently allowed to live and work in that country. There might be some things that you need to do to keep your visa active, like a minimum amount of stay in the country. It might be a day a year, it might be a week, it might be a month. All countries are kind of different. But then you can, once you have this, you can buy real estate in that country. You can live there. You can get a job. You can get a work permit. You can open a bank account. You can do all these things. Now, if you are in that country for long enough, there's a process called naturalization, which is actually moving from your residency to citizenship. And citizenship is the ultimate. This is amazing if you can do it. Now, different countries have different lengths of time, anywhere from, a year to 5 years to 20 years, depending on the jurisdiction and the laws and where you come from. But that is possible. Now, there are ways to shortcut this. So you, instead of spending 5 years in the country as a resident, you can make a investment in the country, in certain countries, and they'll give you citizenship immediately within 3 to 4 months. And this can often be done through real estate. So
Mm.
there's 5 countries in the Caribbean that do this. There's St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Dominica, and St. Lucia. All of these countries have some type of form of, it's called citizenship by investment. And some of these have a real estate component. So you can buy real estate in the country and get not only a residency, but also a citizenship and a passport. Turkey is another jurisdiction.
Hmm.
Big country, rising superpower, a lot of infrastructure, very affluent people, very intelligent, well educated. It's at the crossroads of many different places. You can get Turkish citizenship with an investment of 400,000 US dollars or more in real
Hmm.
estate. And the cool thing there is actually it doesn't have to be a government approved project. It can be anywhere in the country. It can be on the beach. It can be Istanbul. It can be a condo. It can be land. There's so much flexibility. And when you look at the world and geopolitics and what's happening, it often makes a lot of sense to own real estate and have investments in these foreign countries. And now you get to pair it with a citizenship. This is amazing. For me, this is really fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had actually other investors come on the show who just focus on the investing, and they've mentioned countries in that area, in the area of Turkey, specifically Georgia. They said was, in terms of ROI, is just great. I guess they're just experiencing a lot of growth. Obviously, right now they're in the vicinity of the conflict, but it's still, I know that area has been growing pretty well. Um, so 400,000. So that does not, you're not limited to a residence itself. It doesn't have to be a residential property. You could also buy commercial property.
Correct. Yeah.
Interesting, huh? Well, I may have to go out and buy myself some Turkish property then. I wonder if I know that I focus on self storage, and I know that pretty much the US is the only country that does that. Maybe I'll have to branch out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you let me know because we're fully connected out there. I was in Turkey twice this year already, looking at real estate myself and going through the process. And I've had clients who have gone through it this year and are on their path to citizenship. And it's a good passport, actually. And it gets you access to countries that, as Canadians and Americans, we wouldn't normally have access to.
Yep, absolutely. So what are when you think about buying property in another country, what are the other obstacles that you generally see people run into? Language, local laws, that kind of stuff.
Certainly, language is going to be one of the tricky ones. I always recommend people work with local representation This is not, your domestic market where you can do these things yourself. You're going to want to have a local lawyer who really understands it. You're going to want to work with a translator so that they can go through the contract with you so you fully understand what's going on. In some of these countries, not all of them, but in some of them, it really is the Wild West. So you have to be careful. On top of that, the other things that you really need to think about is that there's often not financing. I know in domestic markets, the first thing that people are looking at is how much financing they can get for it. Now, it might be possible if you are already a resident or a citizen of that country. But if you're just going in and you're just, foreign direct investment into the country, your chances of getting financing are very, very low. And certainly, if you're using the real estate to get your residency or citizenship, there's going to be no way that you can do financing there.
That makes sense. Which is really disappointing because being able to finance something as an investor is one of the top things that I look for. So you can't bank finance something. Can you seller finance a property internationally?
In a lot of cases, you can, but you have to be careful with the residencies and the citizenship because they're going to be looking at source of funds. So you're going to have to prove where the money comes from. And you do what's called KYC and AML, know your customer and anti-money laundering. So I'm not going to make a general statement that you can't anywhere, but it's becomes more difficult and there's more things that you need to look at.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there any, I mean, you mentioned Turkey. Are there any other countries that you think kind of have the stability and the acceptance of this kind of process that you would recommend outside of Turkey?
So with the citizenship by investment program, there's only maybe 8 countries in the world. I mentioned the 5 in the Caribbean. There's Turkey, there's Montenegro, which is still going until the end of 2022. Then there's Malta, and then there's Vanuatu in the South Pacific. That's literally all of the programs in the world right now that do citizenship by investment. Now, the residency, on the other hand, there are many countries, like more than we would have time to go through, but some notable ones are Panama, which is where I am today. If you make a real estate investment of at least 200,000 US dollars, then you're going to be able to pick up your permanent residency here. And after 5 years of having your permanent residency, then you can apply for your citizenship and get another passport. Panama is a very good place for investing because there's not much financing here. So the real estate market is very stable. It traditionally keeps up with inflation very well. It's a US dollar economy. It has one of the largest banking sectors in the world. Most of Latin America use Panama as their banking. So they move a lot of their money from their home countries to here and into real estate. It's a good place and it's very developed. A lot of people seem to think Panama's a hardcore third world country or something. And it's like, no, this place looks like Miami. It's amazing here. Tons of fun things to do. And it's somewhere you would actually want to spend time,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that about Panama being kind of the bank country of Latin America. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we have something like 92 or 93 international banks here, just in a city of a million 5 people. So it's a special place. We've been here for 3 years and I love it here. I've got lots of clients. It's a tax-free country the way that we do it. So that's a huge benefit. Yeah, US dollar economy, like I said. So it's quite stable. It's a good place to live.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of questions that kind of come up into my mind thinking about once you have permanent residency or citizenship in a country, how does your taxes, how are you affected by taxes in the US, all that stuff. We'll have to save that for another episode though, because I did take a peek at the clock and we have gone through in our time. So it is time to go into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Starts with books or any form of education. Give me 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and one for real estate specific.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I read a book by Carol S. Dweck called Mindset several years ago. I actually read it 2 or 3 times back to back. One of the best books that I ever read. I really just thought that was so fantastic. Now, a good book for real estate. I used to really love the guys from Bigger Pockets, and I read literally everything that they ever wrote. I really liked the way that they looked at a lot of the real estate stuff. So anything by them, I thought that was quite good.
Perfect. That Carol Dweck book, Mindset, I read that too. That's a really good one. All right, moving on. This is for your younger self. So if you could go back to the Mikkel, let's say he was just getting, just packing his bag for that first international trip, go up to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say it's okay to screw up and it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes and don't beat yourself up about these types of things. It's normal and actually it's good for you. And knowing that you are going to suck at something when you first start doing it is just the first step in the process. And you have to go through this sucky situation to be able to get to the other side. So don't beat yourself up. And I really only learned that in the last couple of years. And Gabe, it's just made a huge difference in my life. Huge difference.
Yep. Be easy on yourself. I like that. One of my partners, they always say you only fail when you stop trying. I know that's super cliche, but I love it. I think that's a really good line. I'm going to push us on a little bit further. This is for, all right. Usually I say, what is the place in the US that you're most excited about? But I'm going to open this up since you are international. Give me one metro, one city area in the entire world that you are most excited about investing in today.
I mentioned Turkey before. I'm going to have to put Turkey up there again. This is the one that I'm going through right now. Like I said, I've been there multiple times this year. I've actually been there 5 times over the last 10 years. I'm super bullish on it. I think it's the greatest program right now. I know it won't be around for very long. So it's this chance to go in, get the citizenship, get the real estate, have another home in a hub with amazing airport, and you can go anywhere in the world from there. I'm super bullish on Istanbul. I think it's an amazing city.
Oh, so you just said I was just going to ask what city in Turkey. So you said Istanbul is the number one metro.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that moves us on to the next one, and this is, there we go, about tools. All our businesses are run on tools. They're the backbone of our business. So point to one tool that you could not live without.
I use HubSpot for everything. I've been building websites and running businesses for the last 10 years, and I would patch everything together with glue and duct tape and
been there.
Now I use HubSpot for everything, for my CMS, my autoresponder, for everything. Everything's integrated. Yes, I pay a couple $1,000s a month, but I'm on the enterprise level and it works. It just works, Gabe. And I can take care of my clients instead of worrying about all this stupid technology and Zapier this and Zapier that. No, thank you. HubSpot, yeah. I love those guys. They do a great job.
That's a good recommendation. I definitely am glad I'm past that stage where I'm just focused on Zapier and all that garbage. But yeah. HubSpot, good tool for sure. And that leads us to the very last question. This one's for the listeners. You've given us a lot of good advice. I'm sure people want to reach out. What is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so I have a podcast myself. It's called The Expat Money Show. We've been going for over 6 years now, 200 plus episodes. I suggest you guys check that out. I've had lots of big names on there who you probably recognize. The other thing we're doing is an online summit, November 7th to 11th. Tickets are free. If you go to Expat Money Summit, you can sign up. We're dealing with tons of international real estate there. We've got the lawyers involved, the tax providers, the tax advisors, excuse me. And yeah, once again, some really big names like Doug Casey and Ron Paul will be speaking at the event. So people who are really freedom minded. And we do have a VIP ticket option, which is awesome. If you want to support, then you can grab that. But if you're just getting your feet wet and you just want to start to get a little bit of information and educate yourself, then grab the free ticket. I'm happy to take care of your people, Gabe. And it's going to be a big event. We're expecting 30,000 attendees. So it's completely a lot online. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited. So that's awesome. expatmoneysummit.com.
All right, expatmoneysummit.com. I will put that in the show notes. So if you guys want to get involved, just go ahead and click the little more in the description. It'll pull down the full description, and in there you can find the link. Reach out to Mikkel and get involved in that summit. All right, Mikkel, that wraps it up. I appreciate you hopping on the show.
Pleasure's all mine. Once again, thanks so much, Gabe.
Absolutely. For everybody who's here with us, thank you guys for coming on the show today with us. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.